Hi everybody, it's Doreen, and I'm back today with a birthday card that I made for my niece who's turning 18. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Okay everybody, before I bring up my supplies, I'm going to go over where I got the idea from for my card. I got the idea out of this book called Card Maker's Sketchbook, and this is an Auntie Annie's book, and I picked this up on one of my hauls a while ago at Joann Fabrics. I had a 40% coupon. So the card I'm going to be making is this sketch right here, except I'm going to have mine facing this way like it is in the book. So let's go ahead and bring up the supplies. So now, my card measures 8 inches by 11 inches, and I've taken it and scored it in half to make it a 5.5 inch by 8 inch card. So now the next thing I want to go ahead and do is I want to go ahead and lay down and put down my top layer. And my top layer measures 5 1/4 by 7 3/4. And this paper is from a paper pack that I've got a while ago. And it's a DCWV paper stack. It's called Pocket Full of Posies. And I got this at Joann's. So I'm going to go ahead and get some tape on there so we can put this down. And I'm going to use my ATG gun to do that. So let's go ahead and run it, some tape all the way around on our edges. And then we're going to put some tape down in the middle. And then I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this to the top of my, or the bottom of my card. So I'm going to line this up. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay down. And because I'm not adding any ribbon, I didn't have to worry about what I always do sometimes is I forget to put the ribbon on before I go ahead and lay this down. So what I'm going to do also is I'm going to zoom back a little bit because this card is so big. So there. Okay. So now I'm ready to go ahead and add my embellishments on the top. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and add my happy birthday because I want to make sure I have enough room to get that down. So I'm just going to lay that down before I actually adhere it to the card. And I'm not going to pop anything up on this card. At least, maybe I will. I'll have to decide after I get everything laid out. So I've got my happy birthday laid down. And then I just want to go ahead and take and lay down my squares. Now what I did to cut out my squares, rather than measuring out, my squares are 2 1/4 inches. Rather than cutting those with my cutter, I just went ahead and took my Gypsy and I used the Georgian Basic cartridge and I cut out my squares. And I'm going to go ahead and go to the Georgian Basic cartridge so you can see that. So what I did was I cut out key number 16, which is this key right here. And it looks like this. Well, actually, I'm sorry, no. I cut out key number 13, which is this one right here. And so I cut that out at 2 1/4 inches. And it just made it easier to do it that way than me going ahead and making sure I get each square cut out at 2 1/4 inches. So these are my squares. So what I want to do before I go ahead and lay them down is I'm going to put each one of my girls, or I'm going to lay them down on my card, or lay them out. And I want 1, like that. And then I'm going to have one over here, like so. And I just want to leave just a small 1/8 of an inch on the edge. So when I want to put this one under, so I'm going to go ahead and lay it down like so. So then, now that I've got my squares laid down, I'm going to go ahead and put the girls down. So I have 3 girls cut out using my gypsy again, and I'll go over the measurements once I get everything laid down. So that looks about where I want everything. So now let's go over the sizes for each one of the girls and which cartridge I use. Now before I do that, I'm going to tell you what cartridge I use for the Happy Birthday. The Happy Birthday is cut from the Martha Stewart Elegant Cake Art, and it is on page 37, and I cut out this one right here, the phrase, and that was cut out at 1.5 inches. So if you were doing this on your gypsy, that would be key number 2. So let me bring that up for you so you can see that. We're going to go to the Martha Stewart cartridge, and you click on the phrase button and then the number 2 icon, and then you have your Happy Birthday. So that's how I cut the Happy Birthday. Now for the, let me put this back on here. I just want to make sure, because I want to make sure that I have these up high enough that it doesn't go into the words of the Happy Birthday. So now for my girls, the first girl, which is this one right here, I cut each one of the girls at 2 1/4 inches, and they are from the Forever Young cartridge, which looks like this one. And the first girl is on page, let's see, okay, here she, on page 9, and I cut this one right here, and I cut all the girls in black, and then I cut out the dresses using some of the cardstock that was left over from my top layer. So each thing was cut out at 2 1/4 inches. So the first girl is on page 32, and that would be key number 9 on your gypsy. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that up for you. So let's go to the Forever Young cartridge and go to key number 9, and that would be the first girl. And then to cut out her dress, you would go ahead and hit the shift key, and then key number 9, and you would get the dress. Okay, for now, the girl in the middle, she is key number 2, which is on page 25 in your handbook, and it looks like this. And then I cut out the dress using that same cardstock. So let's go to key number 2. And it looks like that. And then you would do the shift key and key number 2 for the dress. Okay, and now, so she looks like this. So now for the third girl, which looks like this, That one is on page 37, and it's this one right here, and then this is the dress, and that would be key number 14 on your gypsy. So let's go to key number 14, and she looks like that. And then to get the dress, you would hit the shift key and then key 14 again. And these were all cut at 2 1/4 inches. So now I've pretty much got the basics of how I want my card to look. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and put down my happy birthday. And I'm going to use my two-way zig pen to put the girl down. Now this paper, I'm sorry, the birthday. This paper right here is some paper scraps that I had left over from a previous project. And the black cardstock is basically some of the Recollections cardstock. So let's just go ahead and get some glue on the happy birthday using the two-way zig pen. And I'm going to use my glue gun mat so that I don't get any more glue on my pad. I do have a glue pad, but it has such a glare on it that I didn't want to use that because then there would be a glare in the camera. So I'm going to take my tweezers and lay down my happy birthday, and I want to put it right there. And then just go ahead and push down. So now I'm going to go ahead and get some glue on the happy and add that. And then we'll take the tweezers again. And I'm going to place the happy right here. And then press down. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and add my squares. Now I think I'm going to switch the girls around. And I'm going to put her here and this one here. I kind of like the two with their arms up facing each other. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you can see this. There. So let's go ahead and put the girl down. Or actually, I think what I want to do first is just go ahead and put my squares down first. That way I'll make sure I got the girls lined up correctly. So to do this, I'm going to use my Tombow adhesive rather than using the ATG gun because these squares are just so small I don't really need the ATG gun. So I'm going to put actually we should put the middle one down. Well, no. Just going to move that one out the way. Go ahead and put that one down. And then before we put the middle one down, I'll put the other one in down. So let's get some tape on there. I'm going to go all the way around the edges. Oops. I almost attached my lady. And let's get this one. And I'm just eyeballing because I don't like to measure, as I've said on previous occasions. And I think that's about right. And then we can go ahead and add our center one on top. So I'm going to quickly put some tape on my edges and in the middle. And then I'm going to go ahead and line this up and place it down. Like so. So now we've got our 3 squares on. And now we can add our girls. So I'm just going to use my Tombow for this. And I'm going to zoom back out again so you can see what I'm doing. That's what happens when you're making a big card. Getting in the camera frame might be sometimes challenging. So I'm going to take my tweezers once again, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure I get it where I want it, and then press down. And then we'll go ahead and we'll add our middle girl. And get glue all the way around. Oops. And I'm going to use my tweezers again and place her in the middle. Make sure she's adhered down. And then we'll add the last girl. Make sure I get my glue. And take my tweezers and place her where I want her. So now we have all 3 girls adhered to the card. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and add my number 18. My niece is turning 18 years old. So I have this 18 that I picked up at Michael's, and these were marked down to 49 cents. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add this. We'll add the 1 first, and just so I can get it placed exactly where I want it, I'm going to take my tweezers once again and lay that down. And that's going to be difficult to see. I can see that on the camera. But when I take the picture, hopefully it'll show up and you'll be able to see it. So I'm going to add the 8 like so. And I chose that because her name is Diamond, so the 18 is in diamonds. Okay, so the last thing I want to add on the front of the card is I've made some rosettes using my dynamic dies that I picked up at the CHA Super Show. They look like this, and these are the mini roses. So I've made 1 in each size, and I'm going to place 1 here, and then I'm going to stick 1 over about right there. So, but before I add those, I want to go ahead, because I think it still needs just a little something. I'm going to take some of the pearls that I picked up at the CHA haul, and I'm going to put those in the corners of my squares. Now, I talked about purchasing this, it's called a Stickum, at the CHA Super Show. And I got it because it was supposed to be not have a residue or show when you go to pick up small items. You should be able to pick them up once you rub this stick inside here. Well, I've tried this several times. I can get it to pick up the bling and the little small sequins, but it does not work picking up the pearls. And I was very disappointed about that because I did purchase a lot of the small, tiny pearls for that reason, because I thought I could use this tool, but this does not work with the pearls. So I'm kind of disappointed, and I'm thinking about contacting the person for this to talk to them about, isn't it supposed to pick up everything? So I'm back to using my Quick Stick, which I don't like because it does leave the residue, but this was the only thing I could use for adding the smaller pearls. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue gun and get some glue where I want to add the pearl. And I'm using the glue gun because even though the pearls have a sticky back on there, they don't always stay. And I probably should have used a small amount of glue, but that's okay. I just want to make sure they stick down and don't come up. So I've got the first one on, and now I'm just going to add one on this end, and I'm going to try to get a smaller dollop of glue, which didn't work out too well. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but even sometimes the Quick Stick doesn't pick them up, and I don't know if it's because it has already a sticky back on there and it's getting stuck when I go to pull it up. But I'm going to go ahead and add the pearls, and then I'll be back. Okay everybody, so I've added my last pearl, and I'm now ready to put my rosettes on my card. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my glue gun and get some glue on the bottom of the rosette, and then I'm just going to place it down right there. And the paper that I use to make the rosette is this DCWV Flower Shower, and it's their Spring Glitter Matte Stack. So the color that I used was this color, and it's because the paper is white on the other side. I used this Timeless Lilac Glimmer Mist and sprayed the other side. And then so that's what I did for the smaller flower. I have it Glimmer Mist with the Timeless Lilac, and it's this on the other side. So we'll just go ahead and get some glue on this one. And then I'm just going to add it right there. And I've also gone ahead and taken one of the pearls from the pearls that I have and placed it in the center. So this is it for the front of my card. So now let's go ahead and add the inside sentiment. Now the inside sentiment I got I printed out on my computer, and it is from the book that I use to do a lot of my sentiments, the Ultimate Card Book. And it basically just says her name: "You have grown into a beautiful young lady that shines more and more each day. I'm so proud of you and all your accomplishments. I am so blessed to have you as my niece." And it just says blessings to you on your birthday. And then I've signed it, the nickname that she calls me. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get some tape on the back. And I'm just going to use the Tombow for this. Well, actually, I'm going to use my ATG gun because this is such a big area. And if I didn't say, the paper measures 5 inches by 7.5 inches. So what I did was I printed it out on my computer using an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and then I took and cut it down to 5 inches by 7.5. And I'm going to line it up and just go ahead and place it right inside there. And then the last thing I have is I have another one of the bling stickers that I picked up at Michael's, and it's a purse. And I'm just going to put this down in the corner here. And I think I've said once before in a previous video, my niece's favorite color is purple. Wonder where she gets that from. So that's it. This is my birthday card for my niece. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.